The state of Odisha shares its borders with Chhattisgarh to its west, Andhra Pradesh to its south, West Bengal to its northeast, and Jharkhand to its north. The Bay of Bengal is to the east of the state. The three quarters of the state covered in mountain ranges. Deep and broad valleys have been made in them by rivers. These valleys have fertile soil and are densely populated. Odisha also has plateaus and rolling uplands which have lower elevation than the plateaus. The highest point in the state is Deomali is at 1672 meters. The other high peaks are Sinkaram, Golikoda and Yandrika respectively. The total area of Odisha is 1,55,707 square kilometer and it ranks the 8th largest among other states. Soils of Odisha are mainly developed by the relief parent material, their feature and climate. The biotic features, mainly the natural vegetation and their condition, follow the climatic pattern. Soils of Odisha have been divided mainly into 8 broad soil groups which are red soil and lateritic soil, red and yellow soils, coastal salt affected soil, deltaic alluvial soil, black soil and brown forest soil. Odisha has 2 basic kinds of forests. In the northeast region of the state, the forest is classified as the tropical moist deciduous type, blanketing hills, plateaus and other high altitude isolated areas. In the southwest, the tropical dry deciduous variety dominate. Odisha's forests are vast. Out of the total geographical area of 1,55,707 kilometers square, the state records 52,472 kilometers square as some version of forest. The state has declared large parcels of land protected areas with the purpose being to allow animals and plants who are sensitive cohabitation with the human places of relative freedom from interferences and habitat loss. They constitute 10.37% of the total forest area and 4.1% of the total geographical area of the state. Some of the famous forests of Odisha are Simlipal National Park, Baripada, Bitrakanika National Park, Paramdapur, Tikkarpada Wildlife Sanctuary, Angul, Chilka Wildlife Sanctuary, Puri, Kurda and Ganjam districts of Odisha. Odisha is drained by 11 major rivers and their tributaries, which are clearly separated by high ridges. The north of Mayurbhanj district is drained by Subarnarekha, whereas the south of the district and parts of Balasore district is drained by Buddha Balang river. Districts of Kendujar and Badrak drain into Baitrani, Sundargarh, Devgarh, Angul, Denkanal, Jaipur and Kendrapara drain into Brahmani river. Part of Sundargarh, Jarsugada Sambalpur, Baragad, Sonepur, Balangir, Naupada, Cuttack, Jagdishpur, Kurda and Puri drain into Mahanadi. Kolab and Indravati drain into Nabarangpur, Malkangiri and Koraput district. Vansadara and Nagavali drain into Rayagara and parts of Gajpati districts. Odisha possesses a net utilizable groundwater resource of 16.69 billion cubic meters. The same figure for the whole of the India stands as 433 billion cubic meters. There are 1,426 named mountains in Odisha. Deomali is the highest point. The most prominent mountain is Mahendragiri. Deomali is surrounded by deep green forest. The peak is rich in flora and fauna. This hill range is rich in mineral resources such as bauxite, limestone and gemstones. Deomali is dotted with the brook and deep valleys, an inhabited tribal scenario. Mahendragiri, on the other hand, is the second highest mountain peak of Odisha after Deomali in Koraput district. It has interesting archaeological remains. Its surrounding areas are recognized as biodiversity hotspot due to numerous medicinal plants and other species that are found here. A haven for medicinal plants, Mahendragiri Hills, which is part of the Eastern Ghats, is home to over 600 flowering plants. The faunal diversity of the region is huge and particularly known for being a herpetofaunal hotspot. Situated in the coastal plains of Odisha, Bhubaneswar experiences typical tropical weather conditions and is greatly influenced by the heat and cold waves that sweep in from the plains of northern India. The city temperature is hot and humid throughout the year, shooting past 40 degrees during peak summer. The winter and monsoons too are often marked by occasional hot sunshine and persistent humidity. The average minimum temperature remains around 25 degrees Celsius during summer in Bhubaneswar that starts from March and continues till June. The average maximum temperature is 36 degrees Celsius. The city experiences rain from June to September, followed by a brief post-monsoon period of October to November. The Odisha famine of 1866 affected the east coast of India from Madras northwards, an area covering 1,80,000 miles and containing a population of 4 crores 75 lakhs. The impact of the famine, however, was greatest in the region of Odisha. Now Odisha, which at the time was quite isolated from the rest of the Indian Odisha. The total number who died as a result of the famine was at least roughly one-third of the population. Odisha has 6 districts along the coasts of the Bay of Bengal that covers a 480-kilometer long coastline. Since 2013, the state has faced 8 cyclones: Phylin in 2013, Hudhud in 2014, Titli in 2018, Fani in 2019, Bulbul in 2019, Bob 03 in 2020, and Yas 2021. The forest in Odisha naturally has a vigorous growth, accounting for a tremendous wealth of biodiversity, filling many catalogues of the wild plant and animal species dwelling within. The forest cover is rich in rosewood, sal, piazzal, teak, and haldi. The state also houses very rare species of flora comprising orchids and mangroves. The Bhitarkanika sanctuary is home to large variety of mangroves and thus the second largest mangrove ecosystem of India. The forests of Odisha nurture a wide and rare variety of fauna from the Royal Bengal tigers to the giant Asiatic elephants. The forests serve as abode of leopard, lion-tailed macaque, barking deer, giant squirrel, Indian pangolin, mouse deer, sloth bear, sambar, and wild dogs. It is also the habitation of reptiles such as cobra, python, gharial, etc. The total population of Odisha is 4.2 crores. The male population is 2.12 crores. The female population is 2.07 crores and the transgender is 70,000. And there are 997 females per 1,000 males in the state. Odisha occupies a unique position among the Indian states and union territories for having a rich and colorful tribal scenario. Majority of the scheduled tribes live in hilly and forest regions. Their economy is largely subsistence oriented, non-stratified and non-specialized. Their social system is simple and aspirations. Their ethos, ideology, worldview, value orientations and cultural heritage are rich and varied. Some of the tribes found in the state are Santal, Bumia, Bonda, Gond, Oran and Sora. As per 2011 census, Hindus are the majority in Odisha state and they constitute to 93.63%, Islam 2.17%, Christianity 2.77% and Buddhism to 0.03%. The overall literacy rate of Odisha is 72.87% and the female literacy is 64.01%. The music of Odisha is intertwined with the social fabric in Odisha. The indigenous tribes of Odisha are the architects of the state's vibrant culture. The echoes of their soulful music brightens up the hills and forests. where the lyrics and traditional instruments are the distinctive hallmarks of the tribal music in Odisha. Modern day Odissi music owes a lot to great poet Jayadeva and his epoch-making lyrical poem Gita Govinda. Ingredients of lyrical composition of Gita Govinda like raga, tala, etc. were introduced in the temple music, which in turn over a period of time came to be known as Odissi music as we know today. The intimate relationship between poet and music is the foundation of which Odissi music is based. Another important feature is the lyric, which is sung without fragmentation and distortion. All these ingredients combine to give Odissi music its distinct identity. Folk music, energetic beats, raw lyrics, and feet-tapping music are typical of the folk music of Odisha. The lyrics draw inspiration from the incidents of the day-to-day life, and nature establishes a strong connect with the listeners, which has in turn helped the folk music scene in Odisha to evolve and survive the onslaught of modern music. Tamak. The tamak is one of the traditional instruments of the state of Odisha. It consists of animal skin stretched over a wooden base. The membrane is vibrated with two long wooden sticks. It is usually played in marriage processions and on other festive occasions. The Mahori is a traditional wind instrument belonging to the state of Odisha. It is considered a Mangalabadya, meaning auspicious instrument, and hence is often a part of music arrangements during marriages, though it is often found in folk theatres like Ramanataka and dances like Chow too. The Gochi Baja is a traditional percussion instrument belonging to the state of Odisha. It is considered auspicious and is usually played in marriage processions. A traditional dance form in Odisha, which is used to enact the episodes from the Hindu epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata, is Chow dance. The indigenous dance forms are integrated with the martial arts to form this dance form. Renowned as the most revered classical dance form in Odisha, Odissi dance is a typical dance form where religious and mythical stories and poems emoted by the dancers through expressions, body movements, and gestures. Performed by almost all the regional tribes of Odisha, Changu dance is a rural variety of the tambourine. This dance is mainly performed by women. However, men only sing songs and groove with the female dancers with simple steps. Performed during the festival of Karma Puja by the people of Gond and Oran tribes, the tribal dance of Karma is presented in front of Karam tree that represents the god of fate. One of the most popular folk dance of Odisha performed in the Ganjam district is Dandanata. In this form of dance, devotees undergo a penance to appease Lord Shiva by physically touring their body. Odisha is a confluence of the Aryan, Dravidian and Adivasi cultures. Most festivals in the state bring out some part of these cultures and celebrate their religion by way of festivals which span out the entire year. There are festivals that are common, but the celebration remains unique to a region. Chandan Yatra, Snana Yatra and Rath Yatra are observed with a special gaiety and fervor at Puri, although last mentioned one is celebrated at Baripada, Hathagad, Denkanal, Koraput and other places even outside the state. Durga Puja is observed throughout the state, more particularly at Cuttack. Kali Puja or Diwali is celebrated in different parts of Odisha. Bali Yatra of Cuttack on the full moon day in the month of Kartik remains the glory of Odisha traders in the past. Chaitra Parva, a festival of Chow dance, is celebrated at Baripada. Makar, Holi, Moharram, Eid and Christmas are also celebrated throughout the state. A lunch staple for almost every household in the state of Odisha. Paklabata offers a delectable respite from the summer heat. Made from soaking cooked rice in sour curd and water, this dish from Odisha is served with fried fish, potatoes, badi chora and papad on the side. Being a popular food and main food of Odisha, this delicacy should be one of your first dishes to try on your trip to Odisha. Pilaf or pulao is one of the most famous dishes of Odisha. It is a scrumptious rice dish that is sauteed with the oil until it turned golden brown in color. The refreshing aroma of the mixed spices seems to draw you toward this delicacy and makes for a great self-indulgent supper when you tour Odisha. One of the main food dishes of Odisha, Sanchula, is a classic Oriya delicacy that you can slurp even more on your trip. Made with raw papaya, brinjal and tomato, the dish has more greens and fewer spices, thereby having all the makings for a healthy dish. Rasabali. The sweet dish is garnished with the cardamoms and soaked in thick flavored milk. Served in Lord Jagannath temple as a part of Shapnabohas, this delicacy traces its origin from Kendrapara districts in Odisha. Sports is an important part of the culture of Odisha and hence it plays a key role in the development of the state. Field hockey, athletics, tennis, rugby union, rugby sevens, association football and cricket is the most popular sport in the Indian state of Odisha. It is also called as sports capital. The Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar hosted the 2018 Men's Hockey World Cup from 28 November to 16 December 2018. Odisha have been hosting various sporting events in the recent years. To name a few, Asian Athletic Championships in 2017, BWF World Tour for Badminton in 2022 and Men's Field International Hockey Junior World Cup 2021. The Lingaraja temple was built in the 11th century AD by a ruler of Ganga dynasty. It has all the typical features of an Odisha temple. Situated in a quadrangular enclosure, it has a Vimana and a Garbhagriha. The construction over the Garbhagriha is the Shikara, a lofty ribbed curvilinear spire 55 meters high, which curves in the top and is surmounted by an Amalaka or large rounded block of stones. The lower part of the wall on the three sides has niche projections with icons of Ganesh, Parvati and Kartikeya. The tiers of the roof have exquisitely carved friezes of processions and other scenes. Other structures are the Nat Mandir and Bhog Mandir. The greatest achievements of the Odisha style is the Sun Temple at Konark, about 32 km from Puri. It represents the final phase of Odisha temple architecture. It was built by Narasimha Deva of the Ganga dynasty in the 13th century AD. Dedicated to Surya, the sun god, it is called the Black Pagoda. Shaped like a Ratha or chariot drawn by 7 richly caparisoned horses in motion, it represents time, the sun god driving across the sky. The basic structure is an immense terrace with 12 huge wheels, each nearly 3 meters high on either side. The elephants with a huge lion on each of them, though the spire of the temple has collapsed, the pyramidal roof of hall of audience is intact. The beautiful Kalingan style temple in Odisha, Rajarani temple, is a masterpiece of art and sculpture from the 11th century. Famous for its striking carving depicting eroticism, and the entire temple complex is built in dull red and yellow sandstone, which is locally called Rajarani. One of the fascinating facts of the temple is that there is no presiding deity. It is only because of carvings on the temple walls that the temple is associated with the specific cult of Hinduism. The economy of Odisha is one of the fastest growing economies in India. According to 2014 and 15 economic survey, Odisha's GSDP was expected to grow at 8.78%. Odisha has an agriculture-based economy which is in transition towards an industry and service-based economy. Although much of the land is either unproductive or unsuitable for more than a single annual crop, about 3/5 of the working population is engaged in agriculture, and the sector accounts for roughly 1/6 of the state's gross product. Cultivated lands occupy about 1/3 of the total area of the state. About 3/4 of those lands are sown with rice. Other important crops include pulses, oilseeds, vegetables, cereals, corn, sorghum, and pearl millet. Low sunlight availability, modest soil quality, limited use of fertilizer, and variable volume and timing of the monsoon rains combine to give the state's farmer generally low yields. Agriculture families sometimes supplement their income through non-agriculture pursuits, as farming does not typically provide year-round employment. Although the number of educational institutions in Odisha has increased considerably since the mid-20th century, the state's literacy rate has remained below the national average, and only a small fraction of Odisha's population is university educated. Higher education is available, however, at several local universities and numerous associated colleges of the universities Utkala University and Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology, both in Bhubaneswar, are the largest and best known. There are 6,193 government and aided secondary schools, 849 recognized high schools, and 151 permitted high schools in the state. The state has as many as 30 universities, out of which 18 are owned by the state government to impart education in Odisha, while the rest are private. Prior to the establishment of allopathic hospitals in the late 19th century, people generally had either no access or were reluctant to accept modern medical systems due to educational backwardness and blind beliefs regarding infectious diseases. However, Ayurveda played a vital role in more systematic treatment at the time. A network of hospitals and dispensaries during primarily curative work using modern medicines existed before independence. The hospitals were under the district boards. The growth of the modern medical institutions in a more widespread manner and the increasing faith of the people in modern systems happened insidiously after independence. The state has 1,162 primary health care centers, 231 community health care centers, 22 sub-district hospitals, and 32 district hospitals. By the early 21st century, national highways and major roads covered most regions of the state. Odisha also is served by a number of railways. Major train stations are located in Bhubaneswar, Puri, Baleshwar, Cuttack, and Brahmapur, all in the coastal plains. There is an all-weather sheltered deep draft port at Pradeep at the mouth of Mahanadi River. The port has become an important departure point for the state's exports, especially coal. The state has Biju Patnaik International Airport in Bhubaneswar as international airport, Jharsuguda Airport, Roorkela Airport, Jindal Airport are domestic airports. The state of Odisha has a mix of national and regional political parties. The major parties include Biju Janata Dal, All India Trinamool Congress, Indian National Congress, and the Bharatiya Janata Party. The current Chief Minister of Odisha is Naveen Patnaik. He is the 14th Chief Minister of Odisha. After the death of his father Biju Patnaik, leader of the Janata Dal, he was elected as a member of the 11th Lok Sabha in the by-election from Aska parliamentary constituency in Odisha. He was a member of the Consultative Committee of Ministry of Steel and Mines, member of Standing Committee on Commerce, and member of Library Committee of Parliament. In 1997, the Janata Dal split and Naveen Patnaik founded the Biju Janata Dal, which in alliance with the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance performed well, and Naveen Patnaik was selected as the Union Minister of Mines in the cabinet of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. His party name is Biju Janata Dal. They won 112 seats out of 147. And the opposition party is Bharatiya Janata Party with 22 seats. The next election will be 2024. The leader of the opposition is Pradipta Kumar Naik of BJP, and the leader of the party is Samir Mohanty. Some of the famous leaders of the state are J.E. Rajguru, Chandrasekhara Bahara, Raja Hartatandiyo, Acharya Harihara, Sri Nilamani Rautre, Utkal Gaurav Madhusudan Das, Maharaja Sri Ramachandra Bahan Jio, Dr. Hare Krishna Mahatap, Srimati Draupadi Murmu. Some of the famous personalities who contributed in other domains include Narayan Mohanty, Lieutenant General, V.V. Giri, India's former High Commissioner, Nandita Das, famous actor, Sukant Panihari, art director, Krishna Behera, playback singer, Meher Sen, famous long-distance swimmer, Dilip Tirki, former Indian hockey player and ex-captain of the national team, Meera Nair, Indian filmmaker. 350 BC, Mahapadmanabhananda conquers Kalinga. 1807 AD, the first book gets printed in Oriya is New Testament published by the Serampore Baptist Missions Press. 1948, capital of Odisha shifted from Cuttack to Bhubaneswar. 1957, Odisha Shagiti Academy was established. 1961, the building of Legislative Assembly of Odisha was inaugurated. 1962, Biju Patnaik Airport was established. 1984, Indira Gandhi delivers her last speech at Bhubaneswar. And 2013, Emergency Ambulance Service 108 was announced by Odisha. The land rich in culture and natural beauty, Sambalpur is one of the most important tourist destinations in Odisha. Gateway to Western Odisha, the land has some of the best gifts of nature. Thanks to the lush forest and picturesque waterfalls, Hirakud Dam, Debrigad Wildlife Sanctuary, Cattle Island, Samaleshwari Temple are the top spots that this place offers. Puri in Odisha is one of the foremost to visit pilgrimage sites of Hindus because of Jagannath Temple that forms the part of Chardham in India. Puri is a beach city located on the coast of Bay of Bengal, which is one of the favorite among people of West Bengal for a short trip. At a distance of 248 km from Kolkata and 256 km from Bhubaneswar, Baripada is a city recognized by its beautiful culture and an essence of purity in nature. Its Ratha Yatra is considered the biggest and the oldest after Puri, and thus Baripada is also known as Divitya Sriketra. Setting up of aluminum park for development of downstream ancillary industries at Angul. Construction of high-level bridge over Mahanadi River connecting Cuttack city, Navpatna in Cuttack districts. Improvement of Kanakotra Jharsuguda section on NH up to 2-lane standard with paved shoulders in Odisha. Implementation of mega lift irrigation scheme in Belangir, Sonepur and Baudh districts. Project involves implementation of sewerage scheme at Rourkela town in Sundargarh district under Amrut scheme. Implementation of 15 numbers of lift irrigation scheme on Ong River, Bedan River and Hirakud Reservoir in cluster number 15 in Balangir and Subanpur and both districts. And that's it for this episode. I hope you have enjoyed and learnt a lot from it. I'll see you with another incredible state of India in the next, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share it with your friends.